Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Shri Ramanujacharya Tirobha Mahotsav ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. सत्यानन्दचिन्तसक्त्येकपक्षे सर्वाध्यक्षे भक्तिरक्षादिदक्षे श्रीगोविन्दे विश्वसर्गादिकन्दे पूर्णानन्दे नित्यमास्तां मथिर्मे अज्ञाननीरधिरुपैति यया विशेषं भक्तिपरावभजति परिपोषमुच्चैः तत्त्वं परं स्फुरति दुर्गमम् अप्यजस्रं सत्कुण्यभृत्स्वरिजतं प्रणमामि गीतं गौरां सुखः सत्कुमुदप्रमोदि स्वाभीक्यया गोस्तमो निहन्त श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यसुधानिधिर्मे मनोदितिष्ठन् स्वरतिं करोतु प्राचीनवाचः सुविचार्य सोऽहम् अज्ञोऽपि गीतामृतलेशलिप्सुः यतः प्रभोरेव मदेतदत्र सन्तक्षमध्वं शरणागतस्य नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चातदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे योऽन्तः प्रविश्य वाचमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वदाम्ना अन्यां तहस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं पान्त्वस्मान् पुरुहूतवैरिबलवन्मातङ्गमाद्यद्घटा कुम्भोच्चात्रिविपाटनादिकपटुप्रत्येकवज्राहिताः श्रीमत्कण्ठीरवास्य प्रदसुनकरा धारिदारातिदूरप्रध्वस्तद्वान्तशान्तप्रवितमनसा भाविता भूरिभागैः Hare Krishna. So today there's a tithi of Sripad Ramanujacharya's disappearance day. So on his glories, we'll try to discuss some of his important teachings because that is the whole point of glorifying Acharya means. Because anyway, people they take birth and they disappear, but Acharyas, they specially come here not like ours because of karma, but on the order of Lord, they come here to give us something. So it's our duty to understand what they have given us and try to follow in our life. That is the real glorification. Otherwise, just by saying Jai, 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 Jai and not following or not even understanding, not even trying to understand what they have taught us doesn't make any sense, and they're not very pleased because ultimately they are not after our Jaya Gosha. When Krishna came to Hastinapura to get land, to get the rights of Pandavas, during that time Bhishma Deva was there, Parashurama was there, and many rishis, Dronacharya, even Vyasadeva, many were there, and everybody was praising Krishna. Everybody was saying, Krishna, you are Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have created everything and you are maintaining everything. So they were praising Krishna simply. And Krishna got furious. He stood up and he started shouting, I didn't come here to hear your lectures. I am already Supreme Person. You don't have to tell me that because of your lecture I am going to be Supreme. No, I came here for a particular purpose. You should try to convince Duryodhana and try to get back the land. If that is not fulfilled, then what is the use of calling me a Supreme Person? And you are preaching to Duryodhana. Hey Duryodhana, please hear, he is Supreme Person, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is Lord Narayana himself. So what is the use of preaching to him? Because anyway he doesn't accept me even as a human being. What is the use of preaching to him as Supreme Person? So in the similar way, Krishna is pleased, or Acharyas are pleased when we understand the purpose and the mood and the teachings and we can follow it. So as per my little understanding, whatever I have, from whatever commentaries that we have read, so from that I would like to share a few of the points what Sripad Ramanujacharya has given. All the Acharyas are very glorious. When Krishna takes birth here in this world, there is a cause why Krishna appears here. That what is that shloka in Bhagavatam? It says that Indriyani Vyakulam Lokam Mritayanti Yuge Yuge. Krishna says, whenever there is a problem for demigods, I appear. You can see this in all the avatars. Whenever Krishna appears, there are some problems for demigods. The demigods go and offer their prayers to the Lord, and Lord appears on the prayers of demigods. But these demigods, they don't have any concern about the souls who are suffering here. Demigods you can never find. The demigods, they go and pray for the Lord so that you can take birth here in this world, so that you can deliver these people. Because They're all Mishra Bhaktas, they're not pure devotees. They don't have any concern about the conditioned soul here. But Lord's concern, that is Lakshmi Devi, she has this concern on us because she is Jaganmata. So mother has always concern about the children. So Lakshmi Devi, she requests Lord Narayana that we should do something about this world. We should do something to help these conditioned souls to get out of this world. So how to do that? Lord appears himself, he gives Vedic literature, but people are going away from the Lord. Why? Because they say, you are Supreme Lord, you can do anything. We cannot follow all this thing. And Vedas are very difficult to understand, so they're not very much concerned about this. So Lord has decided, okay, let us send our devotees, our Nitya Parshadas to this world so that they can preach and they can bring the souls back to Godhead. So in this way, Sri Mahalakshmi, Shri has requested Lord Narayana, and Lord Narayana has sent Sripad Ramanujacharya. So he is not other than Anantashesha. So Anantashesha, he tries to serve the Lord in all the ways. When Lord wants to walk, he becomes an umbrella. When Lord wants to sit, he becomes a simhasana. When Lord wants to lay down, he becomes a nice bed for him. So in this way, Anantashesh, he is trying to serve the Lord in all the ways. So now, if Lord wants some help, who can help him? Only Lord can help him himself, because he is such a supreme person. Nobody can be in his status to serve him. So Lord expands himself as Balarama, and then he serves himself. That's what we see in our literatures. So here, the supreme personality of servitorhood, that is Anantashesha, he comes down as Sripad Ramanujacharya. And we know in Bhagavata that in the Uddhava Gita, there is a description about in Kali Yuga, especially, Lord doesn't come directly, but he comes as his devotees. We know Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. And in the similar way, in Bhagavatam it is said, Kritadishu prajarajan kalau vichati sambhavam kalau bhavishyanti narayanah parayanaha kvechit maharaja dravideshu cha bhurishaha. That in this Kali Yuga, even the Krita Yuga people want to take birth in this Kali Yuga. Why? Because in this Kali Yuga, so many devotees they appear. Especially they appear in the Dravida Desha, in the southern part of India. And we know many Alvars, they have appeared, especially Acharyas. And you can see Madhvacharya, he appeared from south. And then we have even Shankaracharya, Sripad Shankaracharya, he's from Kerala. And we can see many prominent Acharyas, even in our Gaudiya Sampradaya. They all moved from South India to North India. Somehow or other, there's a division. Krishna appears in North India, and then his devotees, they appear in South India. So Lord may appear, but unless devotees are there, we don't know who is Lord, correct? Lord has appeared in many forms, in many yugas, but unless we have Vyasadeva, we don't have any connection with all those avatars. So because we have Vyasadeva's appearance, because we have devotees, so we are able to glorify or understand anything about Lord. So here it is mentioned that southern part of India, many devotees, they will appear and they will glorify the Supreme Person, and they will establish many sampradayas. By that, people can get to knowledge of the Lord and they can come out. So there are many good shlokas which glorify Sripad Ramanujacharya. It says, Punyam bhoja vichakshaya papadvanda kshayaya cha Shriman avirabhut bhumau Ramanuja Divakaraha. So Ramanuja Divakaraha, Ramanuja is just like a sun. When sun appears, all the mist, all the clouds, they run away and the darkness goes away. Similarly, when Ramanuja has appeared, the darkness which covered this world in the name of Adi Shankara's preaching, it got removed. Why? Because already the Sripada Adi Shankara was preaching here, but it is again a different form of ignorance, which was covering the souls. And then that's why it is said, Tasmad Ramanujacharya Namah Paramayogine Yashruti Smriti Sutranam Antajwaram Asheshamat. When Ramanuja appeared, what he did? He removed the jwara or fever of the Shruti Smriti Puranas. They were all suffering from fever, like we have now fever. So during that time, the Shrutis, Smritis, they were all suffering from fever. What kind of fever? It is Mayavada. Because Adi Shankara has preached in such a strong manner, even now you can feel this preaching all over the world. This Mayavada has become so deep-rooted. So Srimad Ramanujacharya was the first Acharya to speak anything against Adi Shankara. During that time, if you speak anything against Adi Shankara, you are considered as fallen, or you are considered as Pashandi, or you are considered as not Vedic at all. So that was the time. Adi Shankara was very prominent and nobody can speak anything against him. But even though the Alvars, they have spoken, they have written Divya Prabandhas about Bhakti, establishing Vaishnava Siddhanta, but nobody was there to preach very boldly. Like in our Gaudiya Sampradaya also, even though Goswamis, they have preached, they have written so many literatures, but at certain point of time, they all got disappeared and so many Apasampradayas, Apasiddhantas, they came up. And during that time, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has to come up and he has to preach so strongly that people were thinking to kill him. He was speaking so boldly that nobody can bear his speech, nobody can bear his instructions. So they were trying to kill him. That was the situation during that time when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has to establish this movement or establish this Gaudiya Siddhanta again, like Bhakti Vinod Thakur also. So in the similar manner, in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, 1000 years before, there was practically no Vaishnava Siddhanta prominent in the society. And then Ramanujacharya has to come and he has to preach to all of them. Not only preach, but he has to write the commentaries again for all the Siddhantas, for all the Shruti, Smriti, Puranas. So this is the greatest service what Ramanujacharya has done for this preaching movement. So we can say he is the first Acharya to preach this Vaishnava Siddhanta. And even in our Gaudiya Siddhanta, even in our Gaudiya commentaries, we can see our Baladev Vidyabhushan or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, even Jiva Goswami, they take so many references from Sripad Ramanujacharya. They include even the same shloka, same quotation, you can see they have taken from them. Because Gaudiya Siddhanta and Vishishtadvaita, they are not so different. They are literally like same, similar, not same, they're similar. So in this way, Ramanujacharya has taken away the fever of Shruti, Smriti and Purana Itihasas. So Ramanujacharya is called Kripa Prasanna Acharya. Ramanujacharya has many names. In that, the main name, the main quality of Ramanuja is Kripa Prasanna. Because Lord comes here for Nigraha and Anugraha. He comes here to destroy and to save the conditioned souls. But when Acharyas, they come, there is no Nigraha. There is only Anugraha. That's why in some of the literatures, the Alvars, the Acharyas, they glorify that Ramanuja is better than Sriman Narayana itself. If you see Ramanuja, 4 letters, Narayana, 4 letters. But who is better here? Then he says, better than Narayana is Ramanuja. Why? Because what Narayana does, he puts us in this material world and then he comes to deliver us. So he gives bandha, he gives moksha. But when Acharyas, they come, what they give? They don't give us in bandha, they don't put us in bandha, they give only moksha. So that's why Acharyas, they're all more glorious than Lord himself. That's what it is meant that Kripa Prasanna Acharya. He doesn't see the patras, he doesn't see the qualification of a person. Simply, if he has a desire to understand, to advance in spiritual life, he gives mercy. That is the main qualification of Sripad Ramanujacharya, because he is an ocean of mercy. So if you take water from well, if you take water from pond, if you take water from river, at some point of time they may get finished, they may get dry. But ocean, you can take as much as water as possible, but ocean doesn't get finished, because that is the quality of ocean. In the similar way, Ramanuja, he is so merciful that he gives mercy to everyone very freely, and his mercy doesn't get finished. So that's why he's called Kripa Prasanna Acharya. So Ramanujacharya, he takes birth in Sri Perambadur, it's near Chennai, to Kesava Somaji, the Vaishnava for Kesava Somaji. And then he appears because of Soma Yagya that his father does in Parthasarathi temple. Even though he is from Sri Perambadur, but he goes to Parthasarathi temple in Chennai and he does an Yagya to get a son. And then the Parthasarathi Lord himself sends Sripad Ramanujacharya. Why he has to send Ramanuja? Is there any demons? Why he has to send whom he has to kill? Parthasarathi or Krishna, who spoke this Bhagavad Gita, he thought, even though I spoke Bhagavad Gita, people, they are killing me. Avajananti mam muda manushum tanumashritam param bhamajanantah mamabhuta maheshwaram. Krishna actually feels distressed that even though I say mamekam sharanam braja, I show my feet, just surrender unto me, but these people, they come up with their own commentary and they say, it is not the Lord that we have to surrender, it is something, the Atma which is inside the Lord, that we have to surrender. So Lord has no form, no qualities, he doesn't have any feet, he doesn't have any hands, he doesn't have any form. So they are killing me. They're practically killing me. So in order to save his own teachings, Lord has sent Sripad Ramanujacharya here. So Ramanujacharya, he takes birth in Sri Perambadur, and then at a very young age, he loses his father, and then they shift back to Kanchipuram for his higher studies. So in Kanchipuram, he meets his first Acharya, that is Kanchipurna. So he comes every day to do his Alavatta Kaingariya, or the fanning service for the Lord. So while he comes for the service, Ramanuja, he goes and talks with him and he inquires about the Lord. So he starts speaking about Lord Varadaraja and Perindevi Tayar, the glories of Varadaraja and Perindevi Tayar, that is Lakshmi Narayana in the Varadaraja temple. So Ramanuja Acharya used to hear this every day. He was named as Lakshmana. Ramanuja was named as Lakshmana. So he used to hear the glories of the Lord every day. And just by hearing these glories, somehow or other, he gets attraction towards the Lord. And then he goes for his studies to Yadava Prakasha. So he's a Advaita Vadi, and then he studies under him, Vyakarana and Vedanta, everything. So while teaching Vedanta, this Yadava Prakasha, he teaches Chandogya Upanishad. So in the Chandogya Upanishad, there is a description about the Lord's eyes. Tasyata kapyasam pundarikam eva vakshini. It is a description about Lord's lotus eyes. It is said, Tasyata kapyasam pundarikam eva vakshini. The Lord's eyes are just like Tasyata kapyasam. Kapyasam means, the literal meaning is kapi, means monkey, and asam means the back portion, the prishtabhaga. So he said, the Lord's eyes are reddish, just like the monkey's backside. Like monkey's backside, you can see the reddish. Similarly, Lord's eyes are just like that. As soon as the Ramanuja heard this commentary, he felt so bad. His tears started flowing, and then it fall on the Guru, Yadava Prakasha. And he didn't understand what happened. Why are you crying? And he says, this is very big offense for the Lord. How can you call Lord's eyes and you compare to a monkey's prishtabhaga? And he says, this is what we have, the Advaita philosophy, Advaita commentary. Do you know anything better than this? Yes, if you give me permission, I can speak. He said, okay, you speak. Then he says, kam pipati iti iti kapihi. That kam means water. So whatever the thing which drinks water and which vikasati, what do you say? Which blossoms when sun comes, that is called lotus. So here the lotus is compared to the Lord's eyes. So that's why we should if we start hearing, if for Vaishnavas, it is very difficult to read the Advaita Siddhanta because they make so much offenses about the Lord. When he heard this meaning, then he said it is very uchita, it is very proper, but he cannot understand, he cannot take it up because it is against the Advaita philosophy. Then he left him for some time. Then again there is another stage that when he was preaching about the Lord's quality, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, ityadi shlokas he was preaching, he was teaching. Then he was giving his Advaita Vada. Then Ramanujacharya said, this is not, these are all the Lord's quality. The Satya, Jnana, Ananta, these are all Lord's quality. These are all not Lord himself. So he gave the Vaishnava perspective of his preaching. But Yadava Prakasha did not agree this, and he wanted to kill him due to enviousness. So when they were going for Yatra, they wanted to kill him, and then Govinda, his relative, he comes to know about this and he informs Ramanuja about this. So Ramanuja, in the middle of his Yatra, he turns back and he starts running inside the forest. Now inside the forest, he doesn't know anyone where to go. So there is a hunter family comes and they try to help him. So when the hunter comes, Ramanuja, he started speaking Ramayana to them. Whole night he was speaking Ramayana to the hunter, and hunters, they were very happily taking Ramanuja and they brought him to some place. And the wife said, I am very thirsty, I want some water. So this hunter said, okay, can you bring some water? Ramanuja went there to bring some water, and then these couples, they disappear. He couldn't find. And then he comes out of this forest and he can see the Gopura of Varadaraja. Then he understood, we are already in Kanchipura. And then he relates this news to Tirukkachi, that is Kanchipurana. And then he said, I want to serve the Lord somehow or other, so please help me to get some service. So this Kanchipurana, he is such a great devotee, he can talk with the Varadaraja Swami directly. Even though it's in the deity form, he can talk to the Lord daily. So while doing his Chamara Seva in the night time, he was asking, there is a boy called Ramanuja and he wants some service. Then Lord says, yes, I know that boy. He's our boy. He's my boy only. Then Kanchipurna was wondering, of course Lord knows everyone. But he said, yes, he's our boy only. You can give him service. What kind of service you need? You can tell him that he can bring water and he can pour water to Lakshmi Devi. Then he comes and relates to Ramanuja that Lord Varadaraja has given you this service to bring water for Lakshmi Devi. Then he could relate, oh yes, that was my Lord who came, who guided me, and I couldn't give water for the hunter's wife. Now Lord is coming again giving me this service. So he took up this service very happily, and he was doing this service for years, and he was having association from Tirukkachi. And then he wanted to take initiation from him, but he was not ready to give initiation because he is from different varna, so he doesn't want to give due to that loka sangraha, due to that custom, he doesn't want to give. Then he said, you can take initiation from Periya Thirumalai Nambi. So I don't know the Sanskrit name or the contemporary name, but it is said that you can take initiation from him, and he is in Srirangam. And then he heard about Alavanda, that is Yamunacharya also. So first of all, he wanted to take initiation from Yamunacharya, but somehow or other Yamunacharya and Ramanuja could not meet. Before they meet, Yamunacharya has gone himself to Paramapada, to Vaikuntha Loka. So Ramanuja was distressed. He got angry with Sriranganatha also. And he said, I will not look at you because you have taken away my guru from me. So I will not look at you. So he came back to Kanchipuram and he was doing service. And then at one point of time, he gets instruction from Tirukkachi Nambigal that you should take initiation from Periya Thirumalai Nambi. And then he invites him he approaches him for initiation. So now Ramanuja has already got married with Tanjambal. Her name is itself Sharanagati. But she doesn't have this quality of Sharanagati. She doesn't understand what is Ramanuja's mood. So he was having Grahastha Ashram for some years. So even though Ramanuja, he knows that giving up grahastha ashrama is not a very good idea, because this dampati means it's a one unit, it cannot be separated. And we can see even Lord Rama himself, he takes up, whenever Lord comes to this world, he takes up this grahastha ashrama, because he considers this ashrama can support all other ashramas. So Lord himself takes up this ashrama, and similarly Ramanuja also took up this ashrama, and he was leading grahastha ashrama. So this grahastha ashrama cannot be given up. Wife cannot give up husband, husband cannot give up wife at any point of time, because uh, it is done under the supervision of demigods, under the supervision of rishis, under the supervision of Agni. So it should not be given up. The wife and husband should not given up, should not get separated, even when there is so much problem. But at one point of time, they should be given up. The relation should be given up. When there is a Vaishnava Aparadha. When there is Vaishnava Aparadha happens, then husband can leave and wife can leave husband. That is the instruction that Ramanujacharya has shown. He can tolerate any kind of problems, but when it comes to Vaishnava Aparadha, then he can give up. It should be given up. So this happened 3 times with Ramanujacharya's life history. That once Ramanuja wanted to get Uchishta Prasada of Tirukachinambigal, of Kanjipurna, and he invited him, please come for Prasada. Because this Uchishta Prasada, it's a very powerful thing to get Lord's mercy. That's what Narada Muni says in the beginning of Bhagavatam itself, correct? So he says, because of Uchishta Prasada of this Bhagavatas, I got this great elevated position. So he wanted to get that prasada from his guru, because he is not going to give him initiation. So at least let us take his mercy in the form of Uchishta. So he calls him for prasada, and then he goes for his service. So now this Tirukachinambigal, he comes for prasadam, and it is getting late. Ramanujacharya was not there. So he requests his wife, can you give some prasadam? I have to go for my service. So she offers prasadam, and when he finished his prasadam, she did not even touch the banana leaf. She just throwed it using some stick, and she cleaned with cow dung and cow urine, and she took bath, she changed her dress, she started cooking again. That was the blind custom followed during that time, that when you touch, you have to take bath. It is good if you are doing your aradhana for the Lord, but she did not understand the mood of Ramanuja, and she did not understand the value of Tirukachinambigal, Kanjipurna. And then Ramanuja comes back, he asks, where is my prasadam? Where is a Uchishta Prasada of Kanjipurna? And she says, I already threw them away. I took bath. Then Ramanuja, he was distressful, but he did not tell anything. He said, okay, anyway, I did not reveal my mind to her. Okay, he tolerated. This is the first time. And second time, after getting initiation from Periyanambigal, he brings him to Kanjipuram, and then he is grahastha also. So he comes with his wife, and then Ramanuja also has his wife. So what happened now? Fight happens between 2 wives. And this specially happens when they come to get water. This happens in Tamil Nadu mostly. When you come for water, then fight comes in the water fetching place. So fight happened. What kind of fight? It is very silly fight. So this Tirukachinambigal's wife, this mud pot, from this pot some water spilled on Ramanujacharya's wife's pot. And then she became furious. She threw that pot, she broke that pot, she took bath, and then she changed her cloth, and then she came inside home. And then this Periyanambigal wife got so hurt. Both are from Brahmana community, but inside Brahmana community they have some difference. He is from higher Brahmana community and he is from lower Brahmana community. So she came and she narrated this. So he understood, the Guru understood. He said, okay, let us leave this place. We should not create problem for Ramanuja. Let us leave this place. And they left also. So Ramanuja comes and asks, where is our Guru and Guru Patni? He said, they left. Why they left? Because this happened. Okay. He tolerated. He did not say anything. He tolerated. Okay, let's see what is Lord's plan. Then third time, Some small Sri Vaishnava boy, he's walking in the road and he's very hungry. So Ramanujacharya sees him and and he tells, okay, go to my house, take prasadam. My wife is there, go and take prasadam. And then he comes and then she chastises him. Get away from here. This is not ashrama to come everyone to eat freely. Go away. So this boy comes and he says, there is no prasadam. Then Ramanuja understood, okay, maybe today some fasting or today Ekadasi, I don't know. Today there is some, she didn't cook maybe. So we should understand the situation. First of all, let us go and understand the situation and see. So he comes to home, big feast is happening. She's having very smiling face and big feast and she's calling, come, come, quickly, we'll all eat. And there is one Brahmana sitting in front of house. And he didn't even look at Ramanuja, he's sitting like this. Ramanuja, he saw this Brahmana, he did not even wanted to pay obeisances because you can see the person. Yeah? He is not qualified person. So he asked, what happened? Why you are making so big feast today? And you are telling this small boy, no prasadam. What happened? And she says, yo, you don't know, my brother is getting married. So my father has sent this Brahmana to give me this information. So this Brahmana has come from my village. He's a messenger. So he's from my village, no? So I have to give him nice feast. So he's preparing feast. So I should go in early and make some arrangements. Should I go, right? Then Ramanujacharya says, yes. Relatives are very important because they are the people who are going to save you from samsara. So you should go, yes. They will help you. Then he sent her. And after that, we don't see any description about her. Then Ramanuja, he takes sannyasa from Varadaraja and then he starts his preaching. From that time onwards, he starts preaching. He learned different prabandhas and different shastras from various acharyas. And then the mood of Ramanujacharya is he wanted to do three things and he established these three things. One is to give commentary for Vedanta Sutra, and second thing to bring about the glories of Parashara in the form of Vishnu Purana, and third things to propagate the Vaishnavism or the holy name, the chanting of holy name among common people and take them back to Godhead. These are the three main purpose of Ramanujacharya which Yamunacharya has given. So he was doing that. And in Ramanujacharya's life, many instances happen, many lessons happen. Maybe you know many stories about this, but one interesting story is that there is a Utsava happening. They are carrying Ranganatha in the streets, and suddenly huge rain started coming. So all these sevakas, those who are carrying the palanquin of the Lord, they were trying to find a shelter where to keep the Lord inside. And they saw a Shiva temple. So they went inside the Shiva temple, they are staying. They kept the Lord inside the Shiva temple, they are staying in the temple. But Ramanuja did not enter inside, he was waiting outside. So those Shaivites, they all came and they requested to the Lord, to the Ramanuja. They said, your Lord has entered inside, so why don't you also come inside? Then Ramanujacharya says, yes, husbands can be sometime this and that way, they can enter here and there, but wife should be chasteful. Wife cannot enter inside any house. So that is the mood of the Sri Vaishnavas, that they will never ever take shelter from any other than Lord Narayana. Rakshishyati iti vishwasaha. That Lord is my only shelter. Nobody else can give me a shelter. So this complete surrender or prapatti that we can see from Ramanuja. And at one point of time, a dumb and deaf person, he approaches Ramanuja and he says, I want to go I want to get liberation, I want to go back to Godhead, please do something. Ramanuja did not know how to help him, because if you tell Lord's name, he cannot hear. Even if you write the Lord's name and tell him, ask him to tell, he cannot chant. So how to give him liberation? Then he said, okay, come inside the room. He take him inside the room, and then 10 minutes, there was no sound. So this Kuratalvan, Kuresha, so he peeps inside the place where we open the keyhole. Then he sees what is happening inside. Then he can see this person, He's sitting below Ramanuja like this, and Ramanujacharya is keeping his lotus feet on his head, and he's giving him liberation. So that time, Kuratalvan was thinking, my God, what is the use of all my studies? What is the use of uh, uh, all my whatever? What is the use of all my tyaga? Because Kuratalvan is not an ordinary acharya. He's a very rich person. He's so rich that in Kanchipuram he had a huge prashadashala. Anybody can come and they can take prasadam. Whole day they were serving prasadam. And in the night, in the midnight also, the person comes outside and he calls, if anybody is hungry, you can come inside and take prasadam. And then they close the door at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Then Lakshmi Devi, Perindevi Tayar in Varadaraja temple, she hears this, the sound of the door closing of this Pakashala. And then she asks, what is this sound? Then Narayana says that this is the Bhojanashala of Kuratalvan. Now they are closing. Then Lakshmi Devi says, oh my God, if he is doing this much charity, where he will go for money? Who is saying this? Lakshmi Devi is asking this question. So he is such a charitable person. He is doing so much seva. And then this Kanchipurna, he hears this conversation, and next day morning he comes and tells this to this Kuratalvan. He says, Lakshmi Devi was praising you. What she was praising? She was saying that you are so charitable that you are giving prasadam for so many thousands of people. What usual reaction should be? He said, oh, very nice. But Kuratalvan, he said, this is distressful. Why? Because I should get name as Ramanuja's servant, not as a huge charitable person. I should be identified as Ramanuja's dasa, not as some huge dhanika who does great charity. So he immediately left everything. He took his wife and started walking towards Shiranga. That is the qualification of Kuratalvan. He is so renounced, and he is saying now, what's the use of my renouncement? What is the use of my panditva? Now Ramanuja, you can see how merciful he is. So Ramanuja was showing mercy because he doesn't have any capacity. If you have capacity, then you should serve the Lord according to your capacity. So in this way, Ramanujacharya was trying to give his mercy to all kinds of people. And the main thing what Ramanujacharya has done is to give this Vaishnava perspective for all the Adi Shankara's teaching. So if you have any experience of reading Ramanujacharya's commentary or his other books, we can understand he doesn't just give the philosophy, but his philosophies are mostly scientific, and also has so much logic, and also it has so much rasa also, so much taste here. When you read his commentaries, they are so pleasing. Like when I was reading this Bhagavad Gita Vyakyana, there is one beautiful Vyakyana he gives for Atma. We say Atma is eternal, correct? Atma is indestructible. Why Atma is indestructible? He gives a very nice explanation. He says, in this world, everything is made up of atoms. All the objects are made up of atoms. So if you want to destroy any object, you need to penetrate or you need to dismantle the atoms. If the atoms are dismantled, then the object is destroyed. So to dismantle anything, we have only three things. We have fire, we have water, we have air. So these three things can enter inside an object and it destroys the object. But this Atma is so subtle that there is nothing in this world which can penetrate the Atma. So that's why the soul is indestructible. He gives such an explanation. And then he goes on saying, okay, soul is indestructible. Even Lord cannot destroy the soul? Yes, Lord can destroy, but he has agreed that I will not destroy a soul. So that's why soul is indestructible. So because of these two reasons, soul is indestructible. Why? Because the first reason, it cannot be penetrated. And the second reason, Lord has decided that I will not destroy a soul. So that's why soul is indestructible. This is how he gives explanation for soul's eternity. So you can see many of his commentaries, there is one more commentary about the lust. We say, Dhumena vriyate vagnir yata darsho malena cha yatol veno avrito garbhas tata dene avritam jnanametena jnano nityavairina. So for this shloka, it is said that lust covers the Atma in three ways. That is like a embryo covered by the womb, covered by embryo, and then we have fire covered by smoke, and then mirror covered by dust. So 3 examples are given, and he explains in a very beautiful manner. He says that the fire covered by smoke. So he says, whenever you see a fire, there is always some smoke. Similarly, until we are in this world, there is always some trace of lust. It is inseparable. It is always there. And the second example is like a dust on the mirror. On the dust on the mirror, you can clean it. But what happens after 10 days? Again some mirror, again some dust comes. So in a similar way, whatever endeavor that you do to clean this, you should keep on cleaning. Correct? You cannot say, now I have become liberated. Now there is no more lust. No. We keep on cleaning it every day. Then we can stay clean. And the third thing, he says, like an embryo on the child. The child is inside the womb, and even this embryo wants to get out, it cannot get out. Unless the Lord helps to get out of this womb, the child cannot come out. Similarly, even though we have a desire to get out of this lust, unless Lord helps us, we cannot get out of this lust. So these are the 3 explanations that he gives for this Vyakhyan. So in this way, we can see many of his explanations are so mind-catching. Like there is one more explanation that he says that if you want to see Lord, where we can see Lord? Like a person comes and says, I want to drink some water. So we tell him, okay, you are thirsty, go to Viraja river. Viraja river means that river which flows in between spiritual world and material world. Go to the Viraja river that you can drink pure water there. The person says, no, I cannot go there. I want water in this material world. And we say, okay, go to Shweta Dvipa, milk ocean. There you can get pure water. There you can get even nice milk also. You can go there. Then we say, no, I cannot go there also. I want water here in this world. Then we say, okay, there will be rain coming during rainy season. So you can drink water during rainy season. No, I cannot wait till rainy season. I want water now here. Okay, wherever you are standing, there is water underground, correct? So you dig it and drink the water. The person says, no, I cannot do that also. I want water ready-made. Yes, you can get the water. Where? When rain comes, it is stored in some ponds, in rivers, in well. So you can get water from there. Yes, I can get that water. Similarly, when we understand, when someone asks, where can I have darshan of the Lord? Then we can say he is in Vaikunta. We cannot go to Vaikunta. He is in Svetadvipa, which is in this material world. We cannot go there. Okay, Lord will come as avatars, like a rainy season. Lord comes and avatars and you can take darshan. But we are not in that season to take darshan. Okay, Lord is inside you, correct? You dig inside and see Lord inside you. It is not possible. So where we can see the Lord? Lord, when he appears as avatars, like rainwaters are stored in many places. Similarly, when Lord comes down as avatara, his avatars are stored in many temples, like in a vigraha format. So we can have darshan of vigraha. So in this way, the Lord is purna, the Lord is complete in all the forms. We have this Mangalacharana from Ishopanishad, right? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. So these 5 forms of the Lord are complete. This is the Sri Vaishnava understanding. The Lord, Paratva, Vyuha, Vibhava, Antaryami, Archa. These 5 forms of the Lord are complete, are Purna. They are all complete. Even Vishwanath Thakur in his Bhagavata commentary, he gives a very nice understanding of this Purnatva. We say Krishna is Purna, correct? He is called Purna Purushottama. He is just like a full moon. Then we should understand, what does it mean full moon? We say Krishna is complete and all the avatars, all the forms are not full, correct? We say Krishna has full qualities and all the avatars doesn't have full qualities. And then if we take this example, that moon's example, this full moon's example, moon is complete in the 15th day. But in the first day, moon is very small. Second day, moon grows little bit. Third day, moon is little bit more. So we can feel the difference. First day moon, second day moon, third phase, fourth phase, 15th phase, moon is complete. On whose perspective? Our perspective. From moon's perspective, it is complete. We cannot see the moon. It is not that moon is shrinking and moon is growing. Correct? Moon is moon, complete. But we cannot see the moon completely. At one point of time, we see moon only this much. At one point of time, we see moon only this much. At one point of time, we see moon this much. Similarly, Lord is complete on his own, but we are not able to see his completeness. So we cannot make distinction that he is incomplete. No, there is nothing like incompleteness in the Lord. Because Krishna is able to show all kinds of rasa, it's called Purna Purushottama. It doesn't mean other avatars they cannot give. They can give, but they don't give. They come to show particular rasa. They come to show particular potency. So that's why we should understand there is no tattva bheda. There is only rasa bheda. In tattva, all are same. But in rasa tattva, from rasa point of view, we can find there is a difference. So in this way, Ramanujacharya explains many things about the glories and the pastimes of the Lord. And the main thing what Ramanujacharya has given us is that compassion towards the living entities who are suffering in this world. Somehow or other, they should be taken out. There is no nigraha, there is only anugraha. We should just show mercy. Because in this world, people are so weak that if you ask them to follow so many rules and regulations, they're already weak. They cannot do anything. Like a person is suffering in the ocean, he's so weak that he cannot even swim, he cannot even move his hands and legs. So what Guru has to do? He has to get inside, has to take him personally. Similarly, Acharyas in this Kali Yuga, they come down, they reach us. Otherwise, in previous yugas, the Acharyas, they don't go outside for preaching. The people, they come to Acharya and get knowledge and get benefited. But in this Kali Yuga, people are so weak that they forget about their own position and their suffering. So because of the suffering and their forgetfulness, so Acharyas, they come mercifully to help us to get out of this world. So that's what Ramanujacharya did. And he did a revolution. He's a revolutionary preacher. He is the one who brought out this Vedic knowledge. It should be preached to everyone. Before that, it was only kept for some particular community. Only they have the access to read or to practice. But Ramanujacharya, he brought this out and gave this knowledge so the whole world can take it up. And after Ramanujacharya, we have many acharyas appeared in Sri Vaishnava Parampara and they preached. Even now, if you go to Srirangam, you can feel the Lord's presence and how Ramanujacharya has established this Vaishnava temple. Even if you go any day, there will be some Utsava. 365 days there is Utsava in Srirangam. Every day they have some festivals. Why? We need some engagement. So Lord Ramanuja has established this temple and has given many commentaries on various scriptures, and he has himself made many devotees, and he lived for 120 years. So that is the highest age for a human being to live. So he lived for many years and he personally practiced himself this devotion, and he gave to this world by his own personal example that how we should practice this devotion and serve the Lord. So we should take this mood from Ramanujacharya. Like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he takes two important philosophy from each sampradaya. So in this way, he takes these two important philosophy from Sri Ramanuja Sampradaya. What is? That is, one is Vaishnava Seva, and second one is complete surrender to the Lord. So we should take up this mood that whatever we do, it is not our ability that we are doing. It is because of Lord's mercy we are able to do some spiritual practices. It is because of Lord has inspiring us from inside. He is giving us energy from inside, that we are able to do something in this, in the spiritual practice also. So we should have complete surrender towards the Lord, and also we should have this complete faith that Lord is my only protector, no one else. Like Sita Devi was having, that even though she had all the ability to get out of that Lanka herself, she was waiting patiently to Rama to come and rescue. Why? Rakshishyati iti vishwasaha. Even though she has this ability, she was still concerned that Rama has to get the good name. So in the similar way, we can see in our acharyas also, they give this credit. Always they give this credit to the Lord. They say, even our Srila Prabhupada, he has done so much preaching, he has achieved so many things, but he will simply say, all the credit goes to my Guru Maharaj. So that is the mood of a devotee, that whatever he does, he never thinks that he is doing. Lord is sitting inside and he is helping me to do all this thing. Just we need to have sincere desire. If we have this sincere desire, then Lord helps us from inside. So that's what we can see from this Ramanujacharya's life history. So there are so many things we cannot. Ramanujacharya, as I said, is like an ocean. So ocean cannot be crossed in 1 hour. In the similar way, we cannot speak about Ramanujacharya's glory in just 1 hour, and there are hundreds and millions of pastimes. Like we have Srila Prabhupada, he lived maximum 13 or 14 years with devotees, but you can see Leelamritas are coming out every year after year. So each and every activity of Acharya is a teaching for the disciple. The similar way, Ramanujacharya, he lived for 120 years. Then you can understand how much philosophy must have been there. Like once Tirukachinambigal, who is doing this Alavatta Kaikariya to the Varadaraja, he goes, while he was doing service, he asks Varadaraja, when I will get liberation? Then Varadaraja says, oh, if you want liberation, you go to Ramanuja. Don't ask me. You ask me service, I gave you service. Just because I gave you service, don't ask me liberation, don't ask me Vaikuntha Loka. Because he is Udayavar. Udayavar means he is the possessor. He is the owner of both this world, of this Ekapada Vibhuti and Tripad Vibhuti. I have given to Ramanuja. So he is the owner now. He can give this Vaikuntha Loka to anyone. So if he says, I will allow anyone. So that's why when one lady, she is selling buttermilk and curd, then she comes to Ramanuja and says, I want to go to Vaikuntha, give me some recommendation letter. So everyone approaches Ramanujacharya. He was so accessible and he was so merciful, and he made so many devotees, so many big acharyas, and he himself has written very good commentaries on Vedanta Sutra, on Upanishads, on Bhagavad Gita. Especially if you read Bhagavad Gita, his commentaries, there are so amazing philosophies, how he brings out the connection, how he brings out the rasa inside. He makes it like a beautiful conversation between friends. When you read, you don't feel like you are reading some philosophical book. It's like a story format. He made Bhagavad Gita like a story format, and then the meanings, the inner meanings are brought out very beautifully from inside. So it's already 9:10 because we don't have much time to speak more. I will stop here, and if you have any questions or comments, we can discuss later also after the class finishes. Shripad Ramanujacharya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.